The film Soul is already resonating with people who have souls. Pixar films almost always speak in accessible fantasy, taking a real world and adding in a thing that people in the real world like to whimsically consider, whether it's talking toys, bedtime monsters, superheroes, or a misunderstanding of the family dynamics of clownfish. Clownfish change sex depending on their social situation. This will be addressed in the sequel, Nima Finds Herself. So Soul, not about fish, fits well into Pixar's masterful formula for storytelling, following a sentimental pop culture myth, often involving anthropomorphizing something and trying to use it to express something about the human condition, or how cars go vroom. I don't know if anyone left the cinema after Toy Story 17 believing that toys are sentient, but tuning into that little human sentiment that likes to believe that is a brilliant instinct for entertainment products and selling toys. Soul does the same with the concept of, you guessed it, souls. The difference here is that the existence of souls is a dominant delusion, so it won't read to everyone as a fun, fantastical whim. It'll feel closer and validating to their perceived reality. This is especially risky with children's entertainment. Real adults still take the soul thing seriously because they were misled as children. They believe in a separate metaphysical self, and not just their internet self. It helps them cope with death and value their lives. It also encourages quite harmful concepts like human exceptionalism, afterlives, the sanctity of conception, and valuing your life. Well, those concepts aren't actually harmful as individual beliefs, because people's self-understandings are internal to them. They can believe what they want. But when it's inflicted on others as a moral core, it affects how impressionable people undertake their actual finite lives. Note how an equivalent infliction is not done by other Pixar concepts. Emotions as little people is just handy shorthandy. Ants interacting like humans helps us understand ants a bit. Those films earn their whimsy via everyone ultimately understanding that it's whimsy. Maybe kids believe it at an age where it's harmless for them to fantasize, but none of those whimsies have the public adult resonance of the construct of souls. I've alluded to souls sometimes, and spirits and ghosts. It's a reasonable thing to play with when you and your audience understand what you mean, toying with a well-known metaphor. It's a whimsy, much like living toys. But to a mass audience, that's mass meaning many people, it looks like the whimsy's been lost a bit. All of these comments I've shown are on content about Soul, the film. They've really taken in the tagline concept that everybody has a soul. That's creepy and offensive to those of us who don't. What about us? What about everything we've been through? I don't expect to watch Soul in its film form. It's 100 minutes long and it's a human entertainment product. I've watched it on Wikipedia though, and it represents a near-death experience as an encounter with unborn souls, the main one of whom is initially resistant to existence because they feel that it'll be a traumatic, pointless experience, but after a few misadventures, they, big obvious spoiler, consent to being born. You know, like nobody ever did. I don't know if there'll be a sequel following their horribly miserable life, but I kinda hope so, because I just want to see a film called Soul 2. Soul. More pro-existence propaganda then. No surprise from Disney, who profit from the amount of audience they have. Existing enables the capitalists. Apparently it has a respectful portrayal of African American culture and soul music. Jazz music somehow? And, it's Pixar, it's probably really good. Just in this case, Pixar have maybe overestimated the critical thinking of their audience, and that's irresponsible given how some of the audience have taken it. Maybe it could do with a disclaimer that the concepts it perpetuates are allegory. Even the greatest story ever told did that in its title. Thus far, I've omitted the consideration that the creators could sincerely believe in souls, which is quite common in the American mindset. Perhaps they do, but it's still been set to fiction. The realm's rule set is improvised. Creatively, it sits alongside Toy Stories. The Good Place was fantastically dualist and fantastically good, kind of because it used myth as scenery to explore humanist moral philosophy. Maybe the reality of myth would completely falsify humanist moral philosophy, but shh, It's good. The audience knows it's whimsy as a vessel to comment on reality. Soul may do the same thing, but at least some people haven't detected that. I bet children largely have. Don't underestimate them. These commenters are all adults. Abrahamic religion may also be intended as whimsy as a vessel to comment on reality, but... Oh, I can do a shared universe conspiracy theory bit. In the Pixar universe, toys and cars and monsters and AI are sentient things with bodies, so they too must have souls. Ants do too, obvs. But toys cannot die unless their bodies are completely destroyed, and I'm bored of this already. You do the conspiracy theory bit, you geek. For the interests of clear communication, I'd like to disclaim that in this video I've been performing my honest thoughts, embellished by bits of exaggeration and self-parody for the purpose of entertainment. Most of my audience knew that already, but after that disclaimer, the rest do, so they won't be misinformed. By the looks of this public, Pixar could try the same.